We welcome you back to the Superdome here in New Orleans. Saints fans and the players anxious for the Saints home opener. A couple of tough road losses to start the season, late field goals, a total of 5 points, but happy to be home. The Saints won the toss and they will receive. Let's head down to the field and say hi to Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, several Saints players tell me they personally view today's game as a must-win before they head back out on the road. Cam Jordan said, Jen, we're not naive about the situation we put ourselves in. Well, neither is Sean Payton. He told me he turned the screws at practice this week, making it as uncomfortable as possible. And it's a strategy he has complete confidence in, Chris. He told me, just watch. This game will mark the turning point in the Saints season.
And, Jen, he won, Sean Payton, his last 17 home games. He is undefeated here in the Superdome with this Saints football team. Of course, 8-0 last year, and his offense well-tuned. His defense takes advantage of the noise when the opposing offense and Mike Zimmer's offense is out there.
Well, you know, this is a better team at home, and a better defense, too, at home, because their offense scores so many points here. You know, if this team is going to get off of this 0-2 snide, it's going to be on the strength of their defense. Rob Ryan's got to get his group to play a little bit better. But this offense, we're going to see it first. They love to play here. Drew Brees is as efficient a quarterback in his own home stadium as any quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Travaris Cadet back, and Blair Walsh touchbacks on 8 of his 9 kickoffs so far this season. The Vikings 1-1 after opening with a win on the road, losing at home to New England last week. And Game 3, Vikings Saints, is happening here in New Orleans. Touchback. Saints will start on offense from the 20-yard line. Drew Brees in the top 5 in all major NFL passing categories for his career. Touchdowns, yardage, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, you guys at home can go open up your iPads or whatever and look at his numerous stats. They are all impressive. We all know what kind of player this guy is. He's looking for consistency. He's been looking for consistency his whole career. Chris, I think he's found it. He's done as good as anybody. And
without Mark Ingram, out with a broken hand, so adjusting at the running back situation. And Brees to throw on first down and flips it out for the catch of Benjamin Watson, who gets up across the 30-yard line. Kyrie Robinson, one of the running backs, will also see plenty of Pierre Thomas, keeping an eye on the veteran Marcus Colston, held without a catch the first time in 86 consecutive games last week against Cleveland.
We'll see a whole bunch of Kyrie Robinson. Pierre Thomas was listed there as the starter, but Kyrie will probably be the feature back today and get most of the carries.
11-yard pickup. This is Robinson. And he may have another Saints first down. The Viking defense, and after missing much of the week with that injury because of practice, Chad Greenway, who takes in the defensive signals and steers this defense for Mike Zimmer, is getting the start. Captain Munnerlyn, a familiar face to Saints fans from those years in Carolina in the secondary.
Yeah, 7 new starters on this defense. Really adjusting, though, to Mike Zimmer's scheme well.
On first down, Brees. Caught by Brandon Cooks, who steps out of bounds around the 48-yard line of New Orleans.
That's what you expect out of this offense. 2 plays early, 2 first downs. Minnesota's got to get off their heels a little bit here early and see if they can kind of stem this tide a little bit. Drew Brees loves to get these fast starts. The 3 quick plays have shown exactly what this offense could be all about.
After a gain of 7, Pierre Thomas checks in on second down 3. Thomas the football. Pierre Thomas a first down into Viking territory inside the 45 before Tom Johnson, who spent some time in New Orleans, made the stop, the reserve defensive lineman. A fast start is what the Saints wanted, and that's certainly what they're getting.
They're certainly getting it out of this guy this season. A little bit more of a reduced role for Pierre Thomas, but he's always been what he has been, and he hasn't shown any lack being able to contribute still.
On first down, it's Kyrie Robinson. Weaving the 30 for another Saints first down.
Chris, this O-line is just getting after the Vikings up front. Watch the push they get, the lanes they create. He had a couple of different options there where he wanted to cut that back. Kyrie Robinson, in place of the injured Mark Ingram, showing what he could do.
Robinson, like Pierre Thomas, an undrafted free agent in his second year from West Texas A&M.
Ready, 20, shot.
From the 31, Breeze on first down, completes, and there's Jimmy Graham falling inside the 25-yard line.
You got to figure that New Orleans Saints are in their first 15 scripted plays right now, and it's been a great mix of run and pass. Asked Sean about that yesterday, and he said it's by design that we're a little bit imbalanced in the passing game right now. As you can see, they're giving a concerted effort to be balanced today, running and throwing the ball with much success.
Quick pass to Cooks, who is a quick runner, and he's got a first down and run out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Brandon Cooks, the first-round draft pick from Oregon State, who ran track in college, and you'll see him running and catching the football all afternoon.
Yeah, this is their answer to the departure of Darren Sproles. He can do a little bit of everything. I love how they describe him as mature beyond his years. He's only 20 years old. The kid is exciting, and they love what they have out of him.
Cadet checks in at running back. Cooks will be 21 years of age next week. The flip to Cadet. And he runs out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Looks like a late flag on the play. Our referee is Walt Anderson in his 19th season in the NFL. 12th as a referee. And he refereed Super Bowl 45.
There is no foul for a late hit by number 29 out of bounds. It's second down.
Xavier Rhodes, the corner, there was some hesitation. The flag picked up, no call.
Yeah, Xavier Rhodes just coming in here late. Man, it's iffy. Glad they didn't call that personal foul. Reach, I think.
All right, second down and
Minnesota defense needs to shore up itself real quick here. At least can afford to give up a quick score.
Kyrie Robinson. Closing tackle inside the 15 by Josh Robinson, the backup corner. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Saints. Opening possession, they've marched it all the way inside the 15-yard line of Minnesota.
Yeah, Josh Robinson, the 5th defensive back here. Not ideally how you'd like to tackle a running back going up high, but he does get him off the 3rd and 5 situation here. Crucial down here for Minnesota. Stop here early, gives them a little bit more confidence facing this Saints offense.
Number 1 in the league in third down percentage in the first 2 games. Drew Brees, pass is caught. It's a first down. It's a Pierre Thomas going out of bounds. First and goal. A little dump off to the running back who catches quite a few, closing in on some reception records for a running back.
Yeah, Pierre Thomas working on the rookie Anthony Barr there, and New England exploited him a little bit in coverage last week, and they did again there today.
And Pierre Thomas leaps over the top and has a Saints touchdown. There is a flag down.
Offside, number 97 defense lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
The call on Everson Griffin and quickly to the line. I don't think the Viking defense was ready. Pierre Thomas over the top.
And they certainly weren't ready. Pierre Thomas being Mr. Everything for this Vikings, or for this New Orleans offense, scores an early touchdown. Chris, that was one impressive drive. Straight down the field, no negative plays. Said we knew what we were going to get out of this New Orleans offense. We got to find out what we're going to get out of this Minnesota Vikings defense. They can't be like this all game.
On for the extra point is Shane Graham. You see how much time is left in the opening quarter. The Saints with this opening drive to cap it for a 7-0 lead. They covered 80 yards, 11 plays, Pierre Thomas, without Mark Ingram playing today, is in the end zone.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine.
We welcome you back to the Superdome along with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, and Drew Brees. 5 out of 5 on that opening drive, and Pierre Thomas punches it in. A quick start for the Saints in their home opener. Cordero Patterson back to receive the kick of Thomas Morstead. Patterson capable of going from one end to the other. He has a 109-yard kickoff return for a touchdown already in his career.
I was going to say, if this ball is anywhere in play, he's going to bring it out of this end zone.
Morstead gives him an opportunity. And Patterson gets up to about the 20-yard line. Matt Castle will lead the Viking offense, trailing 7-0 in just a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
10-year veteran Matt Castle had 2 touchdown passes in the opening win, but 4 interceptions last week from the 20-yard line. Matt Asiata gets the carry. For the second straight week, the Minnesota Vikings without Adrian Peterson again on the commissioner's exempt list. But Cordero Patterson, as you said in the open round, is somebody they want to get the ball to through the air or on the ground.
Yeah, they find many ways to get him involved. You'll see him motion him into the backfield and hand the ball off to him. He had an 80-yard touchdown a week ago. He's their best option, but we're going to still see a lot of Matt Asiata and Jarrett McKinnon in this run game. They have to establish the run, and they have to get some first downs here early, or this could get out of hand.
Castle on 2nd and 8 in trouble already. Flips forward, and that is incomplete. That is an incomplete shovel pass. Red Ellison, the intended target. And you see Curtis Lofton coming away with the football. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
New Orleans sniffed out that bootleg right away. Akeem Hicks was right in his face. Talking about Akeem Hicks in this 3-4 front of Rob Ryan's defense. They've been good in the linebackers in the front line. They've had some issues in the secondary with communication. Darius Byrd is a veteran from Buffalo last year. Him, these other safeties in the secondary are going to have to step up today.
Castle's throw is through the hands of a wide-open Kyle Rudolph. It's 4th down. It's got a game break, and check in with Kurt Benefic.
All right, Washington's Kirk Cousins started the game 7 for 7 with a touchdown pass. The Eagles were not impressed. On the ensuing kickoff, Chris Polk took it 102 yards for the score. A touchdown each side, midway through the first quarter. Chris and Rondé.
Thanks, Kurt. You see the Eagles, one of the 7 undefeated teams. The Saints, one of the 7 teams without a win coming into week 3, as Jeff Locke boots this, and the rookie Cooks has it. Brandon dancing backwards. He'll lose yardage inside the 17-yard line. Jabari Price for the Vikings on special teams with the play. And the Saints, who scored the last time they have the football, have it again.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut's Bacon and Cheese Stuffed Crust, by AT&T, mobilizing your world, and by your next truck, Ford F-150.
In New Orleans, Rondé, it's always more than a football game. It's a happening here.
Yeah, every night, every Sunday is Halloween in the stadium.
It's a little Mardi Gras costume tryout. Boy, they have a good time no matter what. And this Saints team, they are so spoiled when New Orleans is at home. They put up impressive numbers like they did 7 first downs in the opening drive.
3 runs over 5 yards in that opening drive as well. It's early in the game, but it's time for this Minnesota Vikings defense to step up.
Drew Brees to throw. They set up the screen to Pierre Thomas, and the Vikings are ready for it. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. And that's one thing that Mike Zimmer said, who calls the defense as the former defensive coordinator, first-year head coach. We have to win on first down to stay in this game with our defense.
Yeah, if they're going to be successful, they have to get New Orleans into some 3rd and long situations where you can let this defense go. It's interesting. You just said that Zimmer's calling the defenses. You look at his counterpart on the other side. This is one of the rare instances where head coaches on both sides are calling offense and defense. It's an interesting dynamic.
On 2nd and 9, Kyrie Robinson and the Vikings, whatever adjustments in that opening drive they needed to make, they've made on these last 2 downs.
You know, you get used to playing New Orleans, and they play so fast that first opening drive. I mentioned those first 15 plays are scripted. They know exactly what they want to do. Now you get a chance. It's 3rd and 9. This defense is settled down. This is a big 3rd down early for Mike Zimmer and his defense.
5 defensive backs come in, and when you said, "Do you like to blitz?" he smiled, said, "Yeah, we like to blitz."
Young lady.
Travis Cadet, the running back, on 3rd and 9. Breeze from his 10-yard line completes. Jimmy Graham shoves away a defender. Robert Blanton just got in Graham's way, and it's a Saints first down.
There you go, Jimmy Graham. We knew he'd be involved early at some point. They're just playing man-to-man here. And Robert Blanton, who's been covering up tight ends so far this season with Minnesota, is just not strong enough to deal with Jimmy Graham. He's an angry player right now.
And we know he's more than a tight end, as Drew Brees said. Jimmy Graham likes to play angry, needs to play angry.
Oh, he does. I've spent enough time playing against him to know you get him mad. Watch out.
Gain of 14, this time Thomas on the ground. And Pierre Thomas slipping his way up near the 45. Blanton had to make the tackle. Now it's good enough for another Saints first down.
Whether they're running right or left, this offensive line creating some nice opportunities in the run game. Look how dominant they are, moving Chad Greenway out of the spot there with Ben Grubbs and just giving Pierre Thomas a nice gain, another nice gain in the run game.
Gain of 11.
Opposite, like 5-4, ready. You ready, what's that?
Breeze from the pocket, and wide open is Brandon Cooks inside the 40 of Minnesota.
I don't think Minnesota is going to play much of a matchup game, but they might have to. You give Drew Brees this much time, and he's going to find somebody. Brandon Cooks running through that zone right there. There was nobody even around him. Minnesota's reeling a little bit right now. They're definitely going to have to find a way to stem this tide.
A pickup of 16. You want balance. Breeze is 8 of 8, and they've run the ball 8 times. Kyrie Robinson cuts back. It's down inside the 35-yard line. That's his 5th carry. Just over 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. 31 rushing yards already for the second-year running back.
As a rookie last year, he didn't get an opportunity to show much of what he could be as a runner. But I know there's nobody more excited on this New Orleans team than Kyrie Robinson to get his chance today.
5-4, ready. You ready, what's that?
Second down 5 from inside the 35. A pump fake from Breeze, wide open, and that's going to be a Josh Hill touchdown for the Saints. Not Josh who, Josh Hill on a team with Jimmy Graham and Marcus Colston. How do you worry about Josh Hill?
This is a West Coast type of scheme here. We used to call it the sluggo seam. Drew Brees goes back, pumps that safety, Harrison Smith out of the hole.
Sluggo, that was an early blow to the chest. And Hill's in the end zone, covering 34 yards on the pass from Breeze. And so now Graham with the extra point. And no. That is only the 2nd extra point coming into this weekend. That has been missed. Washington had one blocked. It's 13-0 New Orleans. The missed extra point as Morstead gets ready to kick off. Shane Graham, it was blocked. It's a tough angle anyway. But it's 13-0 Saints. We will show you Everson Griffin getting a hand up on that play. And as I mentioned, only the 2nd, at least coming into the weekend. It was only 1 extra point missed, and it was actually blocked prior to this weekend, this game. Last time, Cordero Patterson brought it out. He's deep, and he'll bring it out again. And it was Griffin who blocked this extra point.
Yeah, Ray Finkel moment here. Luke McCown got the laces backwards, but Everson Griffin gets a hand on it.
Rondé Barber's pet detective Ace Ventura reference with the laces out and allowing the blocked extra point. But the Vikings in a hole here to start. Second career touchdown for Josh Hill, the Saints tight end. Castle on first down to throw. Flips it out to Asiata. Harris Harrelson on the tackle.
Let's go back to this touchdown real quick, Chris. You know, Drew Brees is known for moving safeties out of the hole. And I want you to watch Harrison Smith right here. As Drew Brees drops back, he gives this little pump fake. I've seen this years and years. He's done this to every safety that's played. Harrison Smith is his first time playing him. Moves him out of the hole and allows Josh Hill to be wide open for that touchdown.
Fourth touchdown pass of the season for Drew Brees. Second down 10 from the Viking 22. Blitz coming. Castle unloads underneath. Kyle Rudolph stops short of the first down near the 30. Let's get a game break again with Kurt Menefee.
All right, on the pregame show, Jimmy Johnson said Kirk Cousins might be the right guy for the Washington offense. Maybe Jimmy Johnson is right. Hooking up with Pierre Garçon, 14-0. Chris and Rondé, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. 12 of 13 passing. It's 14-7 right now, Washington on top of Philly.
Kind of performance Drew Brees is having here, Kurt. Facing third down. Need to get across the 32. Castle complete. Greg Jennings falling for the first down. Looked like maybe the defender slipped.
It's important third down conversion there. They're forced to punt there again, give the ball back to Drew Brees in that offense. Man, you're looking at 20-0 if they have another sustained drive. You see them getting the hurry up. They got to get some urgency back in this offense. And North Turner getting this line, or his quarterback up to the line quickly. See if they can get this defense on its heels a little bit.
Asiata out first down and nowhere to go. Curtis Lofton, who said nobody has to be Superman on this defense. If we just play within ourselves, within the scheme, we'll get the job done. It was situational problems that cost them, at least in their eyes, the 2 games this year.
And it's worth noting on this Saints defense, the guys that they lost both safeties, Jenkins and Harper, Will Smith, Jabari Greer and Jonathan Vilma. And there was a communication void, an experience void, and it showed up late in their first 2 football games that they lost.
Cordero Patterson has his hands on the football, and look out! All the way down to the 35, gathered in the football on the end of that play of New Orleans.
Well, that's what we talked about in the open. He is the one explosive player on this offense. You see it just, Matt Castle, the quick fake, and he's going here to Cordero. Just 1 foot in the ground, gets vertical. He can outrun anybody on just about any defense in the NFL. That was a nice play by Minnesota to change the field position.
A gain of 28 yards to the 35 of the Saints. Castle, complete. Kyle Rudolph, who falls down inside the 25, right at the what would be a first down. Check the spot. Looks like they're saying he did not get enough just yet.
Very nice drive here to answer the 2 scores for New Orleans. Matt Castle's looked comfortable in the pocket. He hasn't tried to force anything yet, minus the little shovel pass thing that he did earlier in the game. It's important for them to keep this rhythm. Matt Castle's got to keep this offensive rhythm so they can get some points out of this drive.
On 2nd and 1, tipped in the air and incomplete. Receiver was open. Castle just couldn't get him the football. Ramon Humber playing for the injured David Hawthorne back there at the linebacker spot. Worth pointing out that Patrick Robinson, who was benched last week, replaced in the starting lineup by corner Corey White.
Yeah, Ramon Humber gets his hands on this play. It was actually the right read by Matt Castle coming back to his check down. Well, he doesn't get in the way. His helmet gets in the way. That ball would have been to Greg Jennings, would have been a first down.
Matt Asiata will get the first down. Matt Asiata, who in 2011 undrafted, signed as a free agent, then cut, and then he worked at a warehouse, said I'm going to stay active, keep my head in the game, and then actually got on the team in 2012, played a lot of special teams. Last year got into a couple of games, had 3 touchdowns. And this year, again, just like last week, pressed into duty. Also Jarek McKinnon and Joe Banyard there because of the Adrian Peterson on the commissioner exempt list. He's in the backfield on a first down. Asiata carry straight ahead as the first quarter is winding down. Dominated by Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints offense playing in their home opener. But the Vikings are on the move. And that's the end of the first quarter at the Superdome. It's the Saints 13 and the Vikings nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will have more after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Start of the second quarter. Vikings with a 2nd and 5. Castle to throw. Has time and incomplete. Here comes a flag. It was in the area of Matt Asiata.
Holding, number 32, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Kenny Vaccaro, the safety, called for a defensive hold.
Yeah, you'll see him try to pick up Rudolph here. He just grabs onto his shoulder pads. He tries to make that out route. That looked like to be where Matt Castle was going to make his initial throw.
Castle 5 out of 6 on this drive. That's the first penalty of the game. And from the 12-yard line, first down, Rob Ryan, defensive coordinator, looking up. Castle to throw, pressure coming, and he had to get rid of it. Cordero Patterson over there, but Castle taken to the ground. Junior Gillette was in on him.
Yeah, Junior Gillette, quick penetration here off the right side of your screen. Just throws Matt Khalil around and is right in the throwing lane of Matt Castle. He's forced to get rid of that ball. That left side of this Minnesota Vikings offensive line struggled terribly last week against New England. And earlier in this game, you see Junior Gillette get another nice rush on Matt Khalil.
2 receivers bottom of your screen, Jennings and Patterson. From the 12, Castle a lot of time and just could not get it to Matt Asiata. It'll be 3rd down.
Nice coverage there on the back end by that Saints defense. You said it, Matt Castle had plenty of time but could not find an open guy.
Now last week against the Patriots, Matt Castle had trouble going deep. Here he just needs to get a first down. 6 defensive backs in.
Coach Zimmer told us if they're going to win this football game, they're going to have to be great in the red zone. Can't settle for a field goal here, especially as we know what that New Orleans offense can do.
Castle's going to run and be stopped short of the 5-yard line. Curtis Lofton ran him down, and it's 4th down for Minnesota.
Castle gets up a little gingerly off that run, too.
Blair Walsh will be called upon to try a field goal.
See Curtis Lofton and Kenny Vaccaro come in on this tackle. Let's see if we can see what happens to Matt Castle. Just maybe his right knee there getting twisted at Curtis Lofton as he goes to the ground.
From 25 yards, a quick kick gets the Vikings on the board as the Saints defense keeps Minnesota out of the end zone. This October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. It's your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. It all begins October 3rd. Already the Nationals have clinched the East. The Dodgers and Cardinals moving in, and a crazy wild card situation there. Well, the numbers for Drew Brees, and you know, the numbers are staggering for his head coach, Sean Payton. Sean Payton's teams in the NFL have averaged almost 28 points a game. That's the highest average in NFL history of any head coach. And should Matt Castle struggle, there's 1st-round draft pick, or be unhealthy, Teddy Bridgewater, who had an outstanding preseason, but Castle won the job outright.
Yeah, you see them working his ankle, it looks like, here on the sideline. Had a chance to talk with Teddy before the game, ask him, when am I going to see you play, buddy? And he said, hopefully not today, but right now it looks like he may be coming into this game when the Vikings get back on offense.
Castle in pain, and Bridgewater may be called upon as the kick will be taken in the end zone. A touchback to the 20-yard line. Well, you knew the Saints would be a different team at home as we get a look at the scene here in New Orleans. Observation so far, can the Viking defense keep Drew Brees and the Saint offense out of the end zone?
Well, that's the question, and we know there's a bunch of new starters on this Vikings defense, but this offense, when it gets at home, it feels like it just feeds off the energy in here. They start rolling, and I got to give credit to Sean Payton and Drew Brees right now. The balance in this offense has really kept Minnesota off balance, and they've gone down with 2 quick scores early in the first quarter.
Watch the Viking quarterback situation closely. Right now it's back to Drew Brees, and he comes out firing. Incomplete. Marcus Colston, the target. Captain Munnerlyn running with him, and let's take another look at what happened to Matt Castle here on the run.
Yeah, he decided to run, and they were looking at his right ankle. You see Curtis Lofton there, just his body weight falls and twists on the right side of his, or on the side of his right ankle. Yeah, he doesn't look very comfortable at all walking off the field there, Chris.
Matt Castle was adamant about, I won the job, I'm the starter on this team, and hoping to steer the offense. Tyree Robinson straight ahead, spinning up there the 29-yard line. Here comes a flag.
Going to have a hold in the backfield.
Holding, number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
That call on Ben Grubbs, the left guard. Sean Payton emphasizing this week, we're not guaranteed anything. And it has to be a little bit uncomfortable for us to respond after losing close games on the road. And his team has responded so far.
Yeah, this was definitely a detailed week. If there was something that even is minuscule that was awry, they were pointing it out. This is a team that needs to get back on track. They need a win. They got to do it this week at home.
Penalty backs them up, second and 20. From the 10, Pierre Thomas the carry. And he gets up across the 16-yard line. And they're taking away Matt Castle.
Well, I guess we are going to see Teddy Bridgewater today. That's a sad sight for Matt Castle, who did a really good job in the preseason. Norv told us he didn't do anything to lose the starting job. Even though Teddy Bridgewater had a good showing, Matt Castle was the guy, and looks like the Teddy Bridgewater era is about to start here in Minnesota.
And they're whispering in his ear, get ready. Norv Turner, offensive coordinator of this Viking team. Brandon Cooks has it. Tackled inside the 25-yard line by Xavier Rhodes. Second-year corner from Florida State. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, down here on the sidelines, the Vikings tell me it is a toe injury to Matt Castle. He's questionable to return right now. It's somewhat dependent on the results of the x-rays that he's going back in for right now on that foot, Chris.
Thank you, and we'll get a look at the quarterback play of Teddy Bridgewater. Thomas Morstead back to punt. Marcus Sherrills inside the 30 of Minnesota to return. Coming up to the 35. No fair catch called for. He steps out of bounds around the 36-yard line. Vikings have the football. Matt Castle injured. Teddy Bridgewater ready to take over.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by The Judge from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters October 7th. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Because of the toe injury to Matt Castle, it's the NFL debut of rookie Teddy Bridgewater. Vikings traded up with Seattle to make him the 32nd and final pick of the first round. On first down, he flips to Cordero Patterson. And the Saints bury him for a loss. Curtis Lofton got there first.
Good play there by Curtis Lofton. getting Cordero Peterson in the backfield, but you got to wonder, Chris, how hard is this kid's heartbeat right now? First start in New Orleans, down 10 already. Their first opportunity to play, didn't start, but in New Orleans, tough environment, it's loud in here. They need an offensive drive. He's sitting at 2nd and 16.
He did make his first start at Louisville in the 4th game of his true freshman year. This a little bit different after a decent preseason. His throw on target. Greg Jennings and the first completion of the NFL career for Teddy Bridgewater goes to the veteran Jennings.
Good play there by the rookie. Confident in the pocket, standing in. See a little bit of his arm strength right there. He kind of threw that flat-footed. He's able to get it out there to Greg Jennings to give them a pretty manageable 3rd and 7 here.
Need to get to the 47 of Minnesota for a first down. Teddy Bridgewater on 3rd down. Underneath to Matt Asiata, plenty of running room. He's got a first down for the Vikings. Matt Asiata rolling inside the Saint 20-yard line.
Really good job there by Teddy Bridgewater. Starting right, knowing that his check down is out to the left of him. You see him looking right, and then he knows where his check down is, and he moved that defense, and Matt Asiata has acres of room out here, makes the corner miss. He had the same type of reaction last week against New England. He ran it in. He ran a check down in for a touchdown. It's a good play by Minnesota. Changed the field again.
A 41-yard pickup. Brian Dixon is the injured Saints player. We'll have more from New Orleans in a moment. Brian Dixon holding his hand, being helped to the locker room. Meanwhile, Teddy Bridgewater, who played in this building, it was the MVP of the 2013 Sugar Bowl. And his team beat Miami. He had 2 touchdowns in that game. On first down, he's going to keep the football and somewhat slide.
Smart decision there by Bridgewater to get on the ground there. You know, actually had the opportunity when I was talking to him to ask him about his development so far, and what he told me is like 3 weeks into the season now, it's really starting to slow down for him. So if he had to be ready to play, he was ready. Did not know that he would get that opportunity today, but as it stands with the injury to Matt Castle, he's in there and he's playing well.
2nd down 8, gives to Matt Asiata. It's down around the 15-yard line. Teddy Bridgewater in the preseason, for what that's worth, he tied for the NFL lead with 5 touchdown passes, completed over 61%, and showed some ability running around. But offensive coordinator North Turner felt comfortable with him, just said we have to give him time to ease in. Well, they had to advance that a little with the injury to Matt Castle, and now a 3rd and 6. Bridgewater runs straight ahead, and has a first down.
I was just wondering, Chris, if the play calling, if North Turner's play calling would be different with Teddy as opposed to Matt Castle in the game. And obviously he just answered my question before I even presented it. Because Teddy, this is a designed run. Gets him one-on-one with the safety Raphael Bush there, and good enough athlete to get the first down.
And looked like his shoe came loose, came off. He's trying to adjust that. Got to watch the play clock, excuse me, see what they call as he fixed the equipment here. It's now 1st and goal from the 7. They're going to have to use a timeout, probably because of that equipment issue. Teddy Bridgewater, the rookie, has the Vikes on the move.
Today's game is sponsored by McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it.
Here in the Superdome, Teddy Bridgewater wears gloves on both of his hands.
Well, let me tell you what, Chris, when your shoe comes off and you have gloves on, it is almost impossible to get them back on. It's because they just slide around too much. We get great pictures of him trying to rip that Nike back on.
After the timeout, 1st and goal from the 7. Bridgewater has it, falls down. At the 15, looked like Matt Khalil was in his way.
Yeah, Matt Khalil just getting pushed back in the pocket. Continues to struggle over there a little at left tackle. Teddy Bridgewater had time on that play fake, but yeah, Junior Gillette just throwing Matt Khalil around. Rob Bryant getting excited about the way his defensive line is playing.
Loss of 8. 2nd and goal from the 15. Saints send the blitz. Screen. Matt Asiata has nowhere to go. He'll lose yardage. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Nice job by that Saints defense sniffing out that screen. They brought pressure off the other side. You got to be responsible for your man. In these, when you bring pressure, somebody's generally open. It's a good job sniffing that one out.
And you wonder how limited his options are as someone who is playing in his first NFL game against this defense on the road.
I'll tell you what, Chris, he looks confident, though, to me. I know he's prepared. We know the kind of talent that he has. Tough test here in New Orleans, though.
They're going to run. Matt Asiata on 3rd and goal from the 20, and it'll be 4th down. That was just, let's not turn it over and try to get 3.
Yeah, another good drive down into the red zone. They're going to come away with a field goal opportunity here. Putting a lot of pressure on your defense when you make these long drives and don't score touchdowns. But good job by New Orleans after that long drive to get the stop here.
Blair Walsh made from earlier, and this will be a 30-yard field goal. And it is good. Now that extra point that was blocked looms big for New Orleans. It's a 13-6 Saints lead. But making his NFL debut, Bridgewater gets the Vikings points. That's Scott Turner, the quarterback coach for Minnesota, son of Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator upstairs, as Teddy Bridgewater comes in, rushes a couple of times, goes 3 for 3. Pressed into duty because of the toe injury to starter Matt Castle.
Looks good, Chris. You know, it's yeah, you know this has got to feel big for him. Big opportunity as well, though. See how he fares as this game goes on.
Travaris Cadet back to receive the kick from Walsh. It's a high kick that goes through the back of the end zone. Drew Brees will lead the offense, 10 of 11 so far with a touchdown pass. Today's aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. With Jennifer Hale on the field, Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Nice to have you watching the NFL on Fox. Week 3, the Saints in their home opener trying to get their first win of this season. The Vikings won their opener on the road, then fell at home last week against the Patriots. And Bridgewater on the spot. His team within striking distance after he just got them 3.
Ready, my side.
Cadet, the running back. Tough run across the 25-yard line. Rhodes makes the tackle. Let's check in with Joel Klatt for an update. Joel?
Yeah, Chris, to St. Louis we go. Tony Romo doing what Tony Romo does. That's a pick 6, folks. Janoris Jenkins, 25 yards on the interception return. And the Rams up 21-6 over Dallas. Chris?
You know, don't know if this will be an issue today, Chris, but just saw Teddy Bridgewater on the sideline sitting next to Christian Ponder. Matt Castle is no longer available. Teddy is the only quarterback on this roster in Minnesota today.
Ponder inactive. On 2nd down 4, Brees, a high throw, but it was dropped. He got it into the hands of the 6'4" Marcus Colston, but he could not hold on.
Marcus Colston wasn't even targeted last week. He's had 2 targets so far today. Both of them have been drops. The first one was a nice play, but Drew Brees finds the time, throws his ball over Chad Greenway, and this should have been a catch. He's a sure-handed guy. He's got numerous Saints records for receiving. He doesn't bring that one in.
He's the franchise leader in receiving and yards and touchdowns. On 3rd down, Brees has to dump it off to Stills, who steps out of bounds for a first down. Kenny Stills, whose father, Ken, played for the Vikings at the end of his career.
Just another one of the many options that this Saints offense has. You know, they have Marcus Colston and Robert Meacham, Jimmy Graham, obviously, but these other auxiliary targets are just as important.
From the 32, Kyrie Robinson squirts up to the 39-yard line. And the Saints offensive line has done its job. Drew Brees said on Thursday night, I go to dinner with the O-line guys.
As I'm sitting here watching this game, and as I watch tape this week, this offensive line is showing me they're about as solid as anyone in the NFL. Jonathan Goodwin, the center, Grubbs, Evans, Tyron Armstrong, and Zach Strief, man, these guys have been very successful early in this year setting up the run.
Averaging 6 yards a carry in this game. Brandon Cooks has the football, but wrapped up right at the 40-yard line. Jasper Brinkley making sure that the 5'9" Cooks couldn't slip away. Well, 5'9 and a half, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're averaging 6 yards today. They're averaging 5.7 yards on the season. So even though it's been a little out of balance with pass for New Orleans this year, they've been running the ball very effectively.
Third down and 1 from the 40.
We're good. Mike 24 left. Ready. 90. Right side.
Hand off Pierre Thomas. It's going to be close. Harrison Smith came up from his safety spot.
That was great audio right there. Drew Brees checking the formation, calling out Captain Munderland as the mic, and because they thought they were going to bring a pressure.
Interesting, Rondé, that on 4th and this short, even at this location on the field, the Saints line up like they're going to punt.
Yeah, I think they're going to punt here. Harrison Smith, you see him. Brandon Cooks, they're probably should have taken the most dangerous defender there and let Harrison Smith come in and make a nice tackle to get off on 3rd down.
Morstead gives it the boot. Marcus Sherrills from the 15. 20. Up across the 25, a gutsy return after a 45-yard punt. Some shows have buzz, and then there's Gotham. Critics have been raving about it all summer long, and tomorrow it's finally here. See how the legendary characters got their start. Don't miss the Gotham series. The preview, the premiere tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Everybody wants to know where Bruce Wayne came from, right?
Well, we know where Teddy Bridgewater came from. He just came fast on the scene here. First round pick of the Vikings. Some thought he played well enough to win the starting job, but given Mike Zimmer, the first-year head coach, some uncertainties with how good his defense was and his offense. Pressed into duty because of the injury. Jerick McKinnon is now in the backfield. Rookie running back from Georgia Southern. Bridgewater is going to keep it. He's got a lot of room. He's got a first down, and that's a big-time slide just short of the 44.
This is why Teddy Bridgewater is in the football game right now. Injury to Matt Castle, right toe. We're understanding, goes into the locker room, gives Teddy his first opportunity in the NFL. And so far, he's been pretty sharp. See the pass to Greg Jennings, out to Matt Asiata, but this is where he's been really effective so far today. Those 3 rushes picked up some nice yardage for this Minnesota Vikings offense.
A gain of 15. There's Christian Ponder looking on first down. McKinnon carries. You know, Norv Turner coached Drew Brees in his first year and said that Bridgewater had some of the same kinds of things in that he gets rid of the ball quickly, can make quick decisions. He was telling us that prior to the game here.
Yeah, very interesting. Some of the comments he had about Teddy, some of the same doubts that people had about Drew, they had about Teddy, talking about arm size or arm strength and his size, his height or whatnot. But Drew's been very successful. No reason Teddy can't be as well.
Saints defense uses a timeout here. Ball spotted at the 43-yard line of Minnesota.
Teddy Bridgewater is one of those guys. Interesting, you know, it's just the name, Teddy Bridgewater. But it's almost to the fact because of what he did in college and who he is, he could be a single name guy. Teddy, you know who you're talking about, right?
Blake Bortles, Johnny Manziel, and then Teddy Bridgewater in the order of the draft. Second and 9. Pass is high and incomplete. Was trying to get it to McKinnon. check in with Jennifer Hale.
Chris, Saints rookie cornerback Brian Dixon is back in the locker room having a thumb injury tended to, but good news for the Saints secondary. The team tells me he will return shortly, Chris.
Dixon goes into the locker room, but he was playing in place of benched Patrick Robinson, who is dressed tonight, so they have options in the secondary with Dixon out. Got it.
On third down, it's incomplete. Close on the play clock. Getting the snap in time. That's what the noise does. Often you have hand signals or a silent count, but obviously Bridgewater thrown into action here. 2:11 here remaining in the first half.
Young quarterback going against a very diverse and aggressive Rob Ryan defense. You got to imagine there's going to be some looks that are going to give him some problems. It looked like that was one part of the issue there.
Jeff Locke set to punt the football inside the Minnesota 30. High snap. Brandon Cooks. Fair catch called for just across the 18-yard line. Saints came out and scored on their first two drives. Bridgewater helped Minnesota with a field goal after Matt Castle got them 3. And Drew Brees, who's 12 out of 14, 123 yards and a touchdown, talked to us about the importance, as most coaches and quarterbacks do, the last 2 minutes of a game and of a half, you have to make them count.
Absolutely. T2, which is the second quarter, and T4, which is the fourth quarter, as I always learned them, two most critical aspects of any game, on offense and defense. You got a nice matchup here. Drew Brees, who was very efficient early. The offense was marching up and down the field at will, has been stymied a little bit here the last couple of drives.
I want to ask you about the adjustments that Mike Zimmer and this Viking defense has made since then. Pierre Thomas the back. 2 timeouts remaining for New Orleans. Passes on target to Graham. And he goes out of bounds. Chad Greenway, who's led the Vikings in tackles, turning this place upside down. He's led them in tackles the last 6 straight seasons, and playing with that broken left hand he played with the wrist injury last year. The Saints home opener. They're leading Bridgewater and the Vikings after the Matt Castle injury, 13-6. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. On second down 4, Brees open again. First down just short of the 35 is Jimmy Graham. Let's check in on Matt Castle with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, it looks like this game is on Teddy Bridgewater for the Vikings. Minnesota has now ruled Matt Castle out with that toe injury, Chris.
Thank you, Jen. You saw Christian Ponder looking on, former first-round pick, inactive for Minnesota. Open again, stepping out of bounds. Kenny Stills. Brees moving the Saints downfield here. 1:36 and 2 timeouts.
Be interested to see the personality here of Mike Zimmer as a play caller on defense in 2 minutes. They're in a situation where they can't allow too many yards to go down the field. You get these stoppages in time right here. You can expect a blitz, some pressure or something. See if they can try to stem this a little bit.
First and 10, the pass short. It could have been intercepted by Harrison Smith.
There you go. They brought pressure on that play and forced Drew Brees to get the ball out of his hands a little bit quickly. But Harrison Smith with the tough task of covering Jimmy Graham. Ball touched his hands. He almost made a really nice play.
Mike Zimmer wanting to get Brees off his spot, off his mark. Don't let him get comfortable in that moving pocket. On second and 10 from the 49 of New Orleans. Brees goes down. Not comfortable there under the swarm of the Viking pass rush, something they had hoped would improve over the first 2 games, and rookie Anthony Barr, who's been in double-digit tackles in the first 2 games.
Yeah, hold it right there. You see these double A-gap linebackers sitting over the A's. It gives the offensive line trouble because it messes up their count in the blitz package, and Anthony Barr is able to slip through there and get the sack.
A loss of 5. It'll be third down. Just over a minute. And counting under. Plenty of time for Brees. Down the sideline and knocked away. Harrison Smith, as he was trying to get the ball to Brandon Cooks.
Another nice play by Harrison Smith. They're just sitting back in cover two. You see the reroute by the corner, gets him outside. Now the safety is responsible for this deep play, and he comes over. Nice play off those numbers to get off on third down.
Again, the adjustment by Mike Zimmer in that defense after the Saints came out moving with ease. And Harrison Smith having quite a game here. Orsted, Marcus Sherrills at the 10. Going backwards. What a special teams play. A 5-yard loss. Josh Hill, who had the touchdown catch earlier from Breeze, pins the Vikings inside the 5 here in New Orleans. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with all the scores and highlights. Kurt, Howie, Michael, Jimmy. Lions winning at home. The Eagles and Redskins locked up in a wild one. The Rams are upsetting the Cowboys. That's just some of what they'll bring you. Mike Zimmer's defense pushed around in the first 2 series by the Saints, and now he has set up his 21-year-old quarterback in a 7-point game from the 5.
Waiting.
Matt Asiata working his way out of the hole just a bit. 2 timeouts. We'll see if they let it run or if they're going to use the Saints may use timeouts here. And they'll have 1 remaining. New Orleans hoping to get the football back.
Yeah, Minnesota, I think, is smart to just run this out of a backed up situation. Try to use this clock. Going to the halftime, only down 7.
We have not had a turnover so far in this game, and obviously the Vikings don't want to do that here. Mostly a penalty-free game, only 2 accepted on the Saints. Vikings will get the football to start the second half.
And I think that probably plays into the decision of them kneeling on this ball and going into the second half.
Another timeout for the Saints. It's their last. So right at 30 seconds.
Exercising futility there.
I think Sean just wants to force the young quarterback into something here. But now they can sit on it and run it out. How satisfied do you think Sean Payton is with his team in the first half?
Well, I think he's got to be encouraged about the early plays of his offense and his defense. They got off the field, really pushed around Minnesota. But late into that second quarter, midway through that second quarter and as late to that second quarter, Minnesota had some nice drives into their red zone but weren't able to convert. So there's some issues still on that Saints defense, and they'll have to clean them up for the second half.
Teddy Bridgewater, 3 out of 5. He's run the ball 4 times for 24 yards. Vikings unable to get into the end zone, but a field goal from Castle's drive and a field goal from Bridgewater and a blocked extra point. They trail only by 7. Drew Brees with a touchdown pass in this game, and Pierre Thomas with a score on the ground.
Hey, you know, my special team coach, Rich Bisaccia, used to always tell me the most important point in football is the extra point, and that block could come back to be a significant aspect of this game.
And again, repeating, if you weren't watching from the beginning, starter Matt Castle injured early in the second quarter with a toe injury when he ran with the football, forcing first-round draft pick Teddy Bridgewater to make his NFL debut.
Yeah, he's in noticeable discomfort as he walked off the field, giving Teddy Bridgewater his first opportunity to play in an NFL game. And as we've talked about, we were very impressed with his poise in the pocket, his decision-making. His ability to run the football is definitely an asset now for this Minnesota Vikings offense.
And these Saints fans in the home opener for their team, hungry for a win. New Orleans with only a 7-point lead. They came into this game 0-2 after close losses on the road, late field goals costing them against Atlanta and Cleveland, and started out like they were going to run the Vikings out of the building.
It certainly felt that way at the beginning. Those first 2 drives for the Saints were almost uncontested. Drew Brees was 9 for 9 at one point. They were running the ball at will, but the defense made some adjustments, obviously stood up, got some pressure, got off on some third downs, and then gave the ball over to Teddy Bridgewater after the Matt Castle injury and really balanced out those total yards. It's going to be an interesting second half, Chris. Saints need a victory, and Minnesota is looking at Teddy Bridgewater now as their starting quarterback.
Vikings will get the football to start the second half. Let's head to Kurt Menefee for the Visa halftime report in Los Angeles. Saints ready to kick off to start the third quarter. Vikings and Teddy Bridgewater will have the football, trailing 13-6. Time for the Nissan performance that excites. And Bridgewater coming into the second quarter after Matt Castle was injured on a running play, hurt his toe. 3 out of 5 also ran the football. No turnovers, and set the Vikings up for a field goal to get to within 7 as Cordero Patterson a chance to return. He's run one back 25 yards and 126. Both were taken in the end zone, 4 and 5 yards deep. Patterson deep again, will bring it out again. He's got room on the sideline. The ball comes out, but the whistle had blown. Let's see how they rule it. Clearly the whistle blew when he went down, and then the ball came out.
On the field was the runner was down by contact. First down, Minnesota.
Walt Anderson all over this play.
Yeah, Cordero's clearly this ball's popping out because of the ground. See his right forearm hit the ground and the ball slides out after that. It's a right call.
And once the whistle blows, then that blows the play dead. So 1st and 10 from the 35. Best return of the day. And setting up the 21-year-old quarterback in his first NFL game. Matt Asiata, the running back.
What's that? Wait!
He gets the carry, maybe for a yard or 2. Jennifer Hale's down on the field. Rondé Barber, Chris Myers up in the booth. Well, Matt Castle said during the week our identity used to be Adrian Peterson. It can't be that anymore. And now it seems like the identity may be more of Teddy Bridgewater.
Absolutely. Without Adrian Peterson, it's a different offense. We all know that. But without Matt Castle and the addition of Teddy Bridgewater, yes, it does change a lot more. A lot more quarterback out of the pocket. We'll see him run a little bit more. Don't know what he's going to be as a starter in the league, as a player in this league, but early returns have been pretty good for me.
Second down 6 to throw. Open. Kyle Rudolph. Good enough for a first down. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale.
Well, Chris, Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer tells me he's extremely pleased with Teddy Bridgewater's composure and scrambling ability. Now, the Vikings offense will be a little more limited in this half. The offensive package for Bridgewater is smaller than the one that Castle used. But nonetheless, Mike Zimmer thinks that Teddy Bridgewater can get this job done. Now, in case an emergency quarterback is needed, the choices are Jarvis Wright, Marquise Gray, and Cordell Patterson. Chris.
From the 48-yard line, Matt Asiata. I'm sure the Saints, Curtis Lofton on the tackle, prepared a little bit for Teddy Bridgewater during their week of preparation.
I'm sure they had to, especially after the week, or I guess the performance last week against Minnesota by Matt Castle. If he would have had another struggle-type game where you threw 4 interceptions last week, then Rob Ryan, this defense certainly have looked at some Teddy Bridgewater film. You had to, because at any moment there could have been a hook.
Both defenses have played well today. Thus the 13-6 score and a 2nd and 9 from midfield.
It's interesting to see how patient this Minnesota offense is. They're going to continue to try to run this football, see if they can manage the clock throughout the second half.
Bridgewater's pass incomplete. He led Asiata a little bit too much there.
You can tell he's a little bit uncomfortable looking down the football field to make his reads. Seems like he's very anxious to get the ball out of his hands into his running backs in the flat. And he's missed on a couple of occasions so far.
Bridgewater 4 out of 7 so far. Again in the preseason looked sharp. Went toe-to-toe with the established Matt Castle, who won the job there. Jerick McKinnon checks in at running back. 3rd and 9. Bridgewater on the move. Will keep it and go down. It'll be 4th down. Tyron Walker ran him down. There's a flag.
Holding, number 28, defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Will be added to the end of the run. First down.
New Orleans native Keenan Lewis called for the infraction.
You see Greg Jennings here in the slot working against the corner, and he just lets him go, and Teddy Bridgewater does a good job moving out of the pocket, but misses a wide open opportunity down the field. You know, the one thing about being a backup in this league is that you don't get the reps during the week. You get some reps, but you all middle reps, you don't have as much time to get as involved in the offense, and that may be why the playbook is a little limited now that Teddy is in there.
From the 41, Bridgewater on first down, throws on the run, and right on target to Cordero Patterson. Looked like they'd run that play a few times.
Cordero Patterson, who everybody says, and as you watch him, does need some time to develop as a route runner, but there's certain routes that he can run really well. And anyone that allows him to run away from his defender, he's going to be successful. The guy has got talent galore, and it showed there as he created some separation from the corner.
12 minutes remaining here in the third quarter after a gain of 14. From the 27 of New Orleans, McKinnon knocked backwards. The rookie from Georgia Southern, drafted in the third round, and Junior Gillette welcomed him in. Has not had a lot of experience running between the tackles, McKinnon. He was a quarterback at Georgia Southern and kind of a speed outside guy, as described by the Vikings.
Yeah, they drafted him, you know, because of his athletic ability, not necessarily position-wise, and he gets an opportunity to play running back today. But yeah, he has been a guy that loves to hit the edges. Getting in between the tackles is a little new for him.
Pass on target to Jennings. Going to be short of the first down. He fights to the 22-yard line. That'll bring up a third down for Minnesota. Bridgewater, we mentioned, 21 years old, listed at 6'2" and 210 pounds.
Yeah, he looks a little bit bigger than I thought when I was standing next to him earlier in the game. He is very linear. He's just not a bulky 6'2". You can tell he's an athlete, though.
Born in Miami, Florida, and of course played at Louisville. Incomplete for Asiata. Fourth down.
Saints were in man coverage right there. Did a nice job. Their front four provides some pressure on Teddy Bridgewater.
Now Blair Walsh will try. He's made from 25 and 30 yards. This one will be 40. Came in having made 2 of 3 prior to this game. And he's 3 for 3 today. Things get a little bit tighter here in the Superdome. Bridgewater takes the second half and gets the Vikings a field goal.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. By Papa John's, official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
We welcome you back here in New Orleans. Today's aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. More than 4 decades, the Superdome has been around, but looks and sounds and feels almost brand new. 13-9 with 10:20 to go in the third. Walsh to kick off. Travaris Cadet back in the end zone for the Saints. And Drew Brees will lead the offense from the 20-yard line. Saints in search of their first win, holding on to a narrow 4-point lead, and they have the football. The Saints at home have scored 21 points or more in an NFL record 24 straight games. Held to 13 so far, and they have it at the 20-yard line here in the third quarter.
Just got rid of it in time. Another Rams first down. 73 person remains in left side of the line. And running left is Stacy. Down to the Cowboys 40 for a gain of 5.
Cowboys and Joel Klatt. Joel?
Let's go to St. Louis, where Tony Romo is going to find Des Bryant wide open. And Rondé Barber, this is not catching a pass. That's fielding a punt. My goodness. 21-17 still for St. Louis, but Dallas on the comeback trail, Chris.
Could have used Rondé on that coverage. Enjoyed you with Joel on the Fox Sports 1 Pro Football pregame show this morning. Robinson brought down by Brian Robinson. And Linval Joseph, the former Giant as well.
You know, this Minnesota defense was reeling early. Looked to be a little bit overmatched in that first quarter, but since put out the fire and is just getting after this New Orleans Saints offense right now. 2 negative plays to start the third quarter. Mike Zimmer's got to be happy standing on the sideline watching this group get together now.
Marcus Colston does not have a catch. Graham has 4, but has not reached the end zone. Breeze to Cooks. First down. That was a good-looking play for the New Orleans offense. A gain of 18.
Some really loose coverage back there by the Vikings. You see them going crazy on the sideline. See the receiver up here up top. Just turned around. Josh Robinson completely out of position, lost his leverage, and Drew Brees was playing him all the whole way.
7th catch of the game for Brandon Cooks.
5-5, ready. Hey, Jimmy, Ohio.
You heard Ohio and Omaha in the same sentence. The blitz was coming, and Graham has the football. And he won't go down easy.
That's a big 265 pounds right there. Robert Blanton trying to drag him to the ground.
And a 6'7" frame.
5-5-2, Omaha, rhythm.
On 2nd and 2, Pierre Thomas gives a great effort to get near a first down. Looked like he was going to lose yardage. Again, no Mark Ingram, out with the broken hand. Expected maybe to miss a month. And he had been off to a good start in the first few games. Looks like we're going to get a measurement. It was close enough with Pierre Thomas's surge at the end. He's carried 6 times for 29 yards. Kyrie Robinson 7 times for 32 yards. And it will be 3rd and that much.
Sean Payton's got a extensive amount of plays. He's bringing in this big package in here, though.
Just one of those where the quarterback just falls forward.
You know what? Drew Brees is not one of the bigger quarterbacks. You know, you get some of these long guys who can just kind of fall forward and just sneak across for that first down. Drew Brees is not one to do this. I wouldn't even be surprised, Chris, if you saw a play action pass out of this set. Line up like you're going to, run something straight up the gut.
5-5-4, ready.
Get a big play out of it.
Ready, my side.
Handoff. Austin Johnson, the fullback. Some extra pushing and shoving. It was quick. Eric Lorig has been inactive for the Saints because of an ankle injury, a fullback they acquired to help in the running game. He's probably a few weeks away, but they do get the first down, and as you pointed out, their first 2 possessions very different from what we have seen since, but they're on the move now.
Well, a lot of that is got to put it on credit of this Minnesota Vikings defense. You know, you come into this building, there's so much energy. It's, you know, if you haven't played here before, it's easy to get overwhelmed. They looked overwhelmed early, but they've turned the tide since then.
Handoff, Pierre Thomas, met right at the 40. Gerald Hodges, and there's some tough tackling going on, this Viking team. That's when Mike Zimmer talked about the kind of coach he is. He said, well, I'm hands-on, and I'm a teacher. I like to do the basics, the fundamentals first.
Gerald Hodges is a player, too, that comes into the game when they move Anthony Barr down to the defensive line, and he made a nice play there. But, yeah, getting the fundamentals to his team, even though he knows these guys have been around, is a big tenet of Mike Zimmer's coaching style, and we're seeing it in this Minnesota defense.
After a loss of 2, Pierre Thomas, and it'll be 3rd down. Let's talk about that Viking defense or take a closer look. Mike Zimmer bringing some attitude here.
Yeah, early on they were giving up some big lanes in the running game, but all these guys up front, these screens, these quick hitting plays, this defense has stepped it up in the second quarter and into the third.
And we have a member of the Saints who is injured. New Orleans facing a 3rd and 10 with 6:14 to go in the third quarter.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
Veteran center Jonathan Goodwin limping off the field. He was bothered by an elbow during the course of the week, so Tim Lolito, second-year player from Grand Valley State who was undrafted, who had a back problem during the week, who was questionable, will take over at center for the Saints. 5 defensive backs for the Vikings. 3rd down.
Look at all the guys in the A-gap, the 2 linebackers up here. They'll either stay in this or they'll jump out of it. Captain Munderland on one side, Harrison Smith on the other, and it's a snap.
Extra pressure on Breeze and he goes down. Captain Munderland gets the sack after the botch snap.
You got to wonder, new center, obviously, you get 2 guys in his face right as he comes into the game and actually goes through Drew Brees' hands. He should have been able to handle that sack or handle that snap. And it gives Captain Munderland off the edge an opportunity for his first sack of the season.
Thomas Morstead. Marcus Sherrills at the 21 of Minnesota. Here comes a flag. Sherrills has a lot of room. Morstead is going to knock him out of bounds. Put the flag back at the 20-yard line of the Vikings. They have not had a penalty accepted on them today.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 21, receiving team. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
The call on Josh Robinson.
Yeah, right in the middle of the picture there. It was a kind of a touchy, little iffy, but backs up the Minnesota Vikings as they come back on offense.
Jonathan Goodwin being taken to the locker room on the cart. First penalty of the game against the Vikings as they start from the 10. Matt Asiata, who has carried the load on the ground, will get knocked down after maybe a yard. Curtis Lofton, who takes in the defensive signals coming in to make the tackle. Matt Castle knocked out with a toe injury, will not return. Teddy Bridgewater, his NFL debut, the 3rd quarterback drafted at the end of the first round by Minnesota. And Breeze started on fire, but since the Vikings defense has adjusted, the Saints defense has kept Minnesota out of the end zone, but has not been able to force a turnover. Bridgewater, time to throw, and open. Jennings across the 40 for a first down.
There was a lot of room there in that Saints secondary. Teddy Bridgewater giving himself some time, and watch Greg Jennings just dip out the corner on that side. Keenan Lewis jumps up and leaves a ton of room for Teddy Bridgewater to complete this pass. You know, this Saints defense has been maligned this year because of their failings in the in the 2-minute drives and 2 losses. They need to step up big. They have yet to get a turnover this season, or only 1 turnover this season.
A 30-yard gain. Bridgewater airing it out again for Jennings again. Through his hands, and the coverage was there. Corey White. We mentioned that Patrick Robinson, benched in the Cleveland game, did not start. In fact, the defensive backs, when we were out at Saints practice on Friday, talked about having their own special meeting to get together and work over some communication issues between Jarris Byrd, Kenny Vaccaro, and some of the other defensive backs.
Yeah, there's Patrick Robinson. He had a blown assignment. Well, he was one of the 3 that had a blown assignment on that long completion that ended the Cleveland game. But yeah, they needed to get together. They need some leadership, whether it's Jarris Byrd or somebody else, to get them right on track, because their miscommunications have been an issue all year.
Asiata fighting hard to get across the 45-yard line. At 6 feet and 235 pounds, the former Utah running back carrying the load.
There's some tough yards right there, bouncing off guys. He's a thick runner. He's got those thick legs. Never be confused for an Adrian Peterson type, but he can be the workhorse. I've already seen his effectiveness out of the backfield today.
On 3rd and 5, incomplete. Jennings couldn't hold on. Keenan Lewis running with him.
Really nice play by Keenan Lewis. Teddy Bridgewater, as he's done so far since he's come in, buying himself some time, and that ball looked to be completed when he let it go, but Keenan Lewis does a nice job getting that hand in there and getting them off, getting this Saints D off on 3rd down.
And it would have been good enough for a first down had he held on. Jarris Byrd now back. He's the good hands return specialist. The former Buffalo Bills defensive back signed here in New Orleans, who will fair catch it at the 10-yard line. 13-9, the Saints in their home opener with Drew Brees out to lead the offense. Drew Brees, of all his accomplishments and milestones, when we asked him what he was most proud of, but he said consistency, and serious at age 35 about playing until he's 45, says it feels as good health-wise as he's ever felt.
I don't think I would doubt a man with those type of credentials. There's a lot of those stats that impress you, but that 66% completion percentage is impossible for as many throws that he makes.
And you lined up against him many times on defense. On 1st down, the pass to Josh Hill, who knocks over a Viking and gets a first down at the 24-yard line. Hill had the touchdown catch from Brees in that opening quarter. 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives, then 4 punts for this offense.
And that in itself, the lack of excitement since then by this offense has really taken this crowd out of it. This place was buzzing when we first got in here, and it's been mild ever since. Let's see if Drew Brees can get them back on their feet.
From the 24, Kyrie Robinson across the 26-yard line. Cooks is the leading receiver with 7 catches. Are you surprised we haven't seen more from Jimmy Graham? He does have 5 catches in the game.
Now, it's interesting you say that. I think it has to do a lot with the way Minnesota is playing them. If you watched the game last week, they did a great job on Gronkowski for New England. He only had 37 yards in that game. They're employing the same type of methods to limit Jimmy Graham today.
Pierre Thomas, top of your screen as a receiver. Pass goes to the right side. Colston with a first down and his first catch in this game. His first catch in 2 games.
He's been targeted a couple of times. Josh Robinson had good coverage on him there, but he went down low to scoop this ball up and get his first catch of the day.
Drew Brees, after his record 54-game streak with at least 1 touchdown pass, when that ended in 2012, he started another run that has reached 23 straight, including today. From the pocket, incomplete in the area of Colston, and he went down hard. There's a flag.
Number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on Armstead, the left tackle. Jonathan Goodwin taken away, the starting center. The offensive line has had to adjust.
See Armstead there working on Griffin, and Griffin does a great job running the hoop there, as we used to call it with our DNs, and he's by him immediately. He had to grab him. He was going to get to Drew.
Back at the 25 of New Orleans, it's 1st and 20. Fakes to Cooks, goes the other way to Pierre Thomas. Vikings ready on the screen across the 30-yard line. Anthony Barr, the other first-round pick of the Vikings with Bridgewater, the rookie from UCLA. Third quarter winding down. Brees does have a string of home games of 300 straight. 10 straight times, I should say, at home. 11 would be an NFL record.
You ready, what's that?
Incomplete. Again under pressure. He was short on the throw to Brandon Cooks.
You know, this Saints offense, you know, I love the way it's described sometimes, indiscriminate play calling. You looked at that play right there. Brandon Cooks started out in the backfield. He was lined up at fullback before he motioned out. The pressure on Drew Brees, though, forced a bad throw. That was going to be his target.
They've run it 20 times. They've attempted to throw 26. A 3rd and 14. Pressure coming. Brees is down. Captain Munnerlyn flying in, and Brees shoves him back. And here comes a flag.
I don't think Drew Brees liked, or he took exception to Captain Munnerlyn dumping him after he's sacked here.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 23 defense, driving the quarterback into the ground. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And it's tough for me to agree with this call, Chris, but you can't do that to quarterbacks. We all know that. They are the most protected player now in the history of football. You see the feisty side of Drew Brees. We saw those pictures of him before the game getting his team excited. He got up feisty from that hit, and he's getting the crowd back into it.
Well, instead of having 4th and long after the penalty, the Saints have a first down at the end of the third quarter. A major tipping point in this game. Drew Brees discussing with Captain Munnerlyn a couple of defenses, both fighting for victory here in New Orleans. Start of the fourth quarter with Rondé Barber. Chris Myers, and moments ago, double teamed the penalty on the Vikings, slamming the quarterback to the ground, unsportsmanlike. And instead of being 4th down and no penalty for the Brees retaliation, it's now a first down for the New Orleans Saints. Our rules analyst, Mike Pereira, there's a new rule this year in terms of where you mark it off from. Correct, Mike?
Yeah, it is. This is the roughing the passer call. But last year was called a behind, the run into behind the line of scrimmage. The foul happened behind the line, so you'd enforce from there. But this year you go all the way back to the previous spot, penalize it 15 from there, automatic first down.
So it sets the Saints up, thank you, Mike Pereira, to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, Chris, because Minnesota's defense, as we talked about here in the second quarter and into this second half, has really stepped up, gotten off the field. That would have been another third down success for this Vikings defense. But as it stands, you get the personal foul and move New Orleans almost into Minnesota territory now.
Each team with a sack in this game.
Trojan. No, ready. 90, like that.
Brees pass short. It'll be third down, and Anthony Barr putting pressure on Drew Brees, intended for Kenny Stills. Let's head down to Jennifer on the field.
Well, Chris, the injuries are mounting on both sidelines. For the Saints, Jonathan Goodwin is now questionable to return with a left leg injury. And on the Vikings sideline, guard Brandon Fusco is doubtful with a shoulder injury, Chris.
Thank you, Jen. And Drew Brees and the Saints, you see over 200 yards passing. Faced with a third down, 5 of 9 on third down today. Graham has a first down near the Viking 41-yard line.
Here we go. Let's watch this. Look, Brian Robinson is right there. Tell me on this critical third down how he ends up covering Jimmy Graham. You know, I know this is part of the scheme. He's probably being doubled with help from Harrison Smith, but Chris, I think that is the definition of a mismatch.
And Drew Brees can find it and will find it.
Opposite.
Gain of 10.
Ready, blue 20.
Robinson will pick up a couple down to about the 38 of Minnesota.
We mentioned Anthony Barr's name a couple of times today. It's a great penetration right there on that play.
And you wonder if the Saints, obviously they want to score as quickly and as often as they can, but take control of the game, keep the ball away from Minnesota, limit their opportunities to come back with just a 4-point deficit.
Ready, easy.
I think that's Minnesota's plan, but
Packer left 52. Packer left
seems to be
52.
what the New Orleans Saints are adapting now into the second half.
Ready, play shot.
Breeze for Graham. He couldn't hold on. It was right there.
Robert Blanton in coverage there was just getting separated from by Jimmy Graham. I would expect the big man to come down with that right in his hands. His point guard couldn't have put it in any better spot. He still dropped it. It looks like he took his eyes off the ball, Chris, trying to focus on getting his feet in bounds. He just dropped it.
Fair enough. 3rd down and 7.
Turbo. Packer left 52. Ready.
Double A's again here, Chris.
Ready, play shot.
Cooks in the backfield. He gets the football. And has a first down. Down the sideline. Inside the Viking 20.
Brandon Cooks went in motion here, and the Vikings were showing that double A. You see these two guys right there in the A gap. Thought there was a blitz, but they dropped out of it. And then the Vikings defense just gets leverage. You see Xavier Rhodes out there's got to turn that ball back inside. All his help is in there. And Brandon Cooks gets up the sideline for a nice gain.
A gain of 19 from the 18 of Minnesota. Breeze on first down from the pocket. Throws Colston. Marcus Colston has a touchdown, New Orleans.
Crowd loves to see that connection. Marcus Colston and Drew Brees, 4th most prolific in the history of the NFL. Go back to that sack. This drive could be dead, but Marcus Colston, the shake route, working on Chad Greenway. Nice play. They've run that 1,000 times, and they're able to score on it today.
18 yards, and that big frame, 6'4" of Marcus Colston, the 9-year veteran, falling into the end zone, and there he is, moving on up the list. He already is the boss up here as Drew Brees throws his 2nd touchdown pass, in this game. And that connection between the two, all too familiar. This extra point, a little bit of an adventure, but it gets through. And here in the 4th quarter, Drew Brees and Marcus Colston showing a familiar result.
Today's game is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Hurry in for the $5 footlong Italian BMT. Subway, eat fresh. By the agile all-new Audi Q3, stray the course. And by The Equalizer, in theaters September 26th.
This October, history will be made as baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1, your home for baseball and the National League Division Series and Championship Series. It all begins October 3rd. Morstead ready to kick off, and Cordero Patterson, who, when given the opportunity, has made the most of returning these kicks, even if they're deep in the end zone. From the back of the end zone. He'll be stopped short of the 20. Teddy Bridgewater has thrown for 72 touchdowns in his college career, has a couple of Big East titles, but the rookie at age 21 on the spot here. It's one thing to come into a game on the road, but now in the 4th quarter, having to rally your team.
Definitely, and think about how huge that penalty was, that roughing the passer. They would have had a backed up situation. The crowd was out of the game. Now you feel like they're in a situation where they got to start chasing this game. Down 11 with 12:20 left on the clock. Doesn't look very favorable if they don't get a drive right here, Chris.
Bridgewater to throw on first down if he can. He's going to keep it. Here comes a flag in the backfield. He goes down across the 22.
Holding, number 62, offense. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
And that's Vladimir Dukas, who has come in for the injured Brandon Fusco, who was the starting guard. Kyle Rudolph is the injured player.
Yeah, the center, holding right there in the center of the screen there. Got both shoulder pads. Impossible for them not to throw that penalty. And Kyle Rudolph, who's their big tight end, big target, down hurt.
Kyle Rudolph walked off. Marquise Gray in at tight end. Bridgewater backing up at his own goal line. Pass underneath to Cordero Patterson, who's run out of the 25. Other than kickoffs, Rondé, that's only the 4th touch of the game for him, and he's their most dynamic offensive player.
Yeah, surprising as we're sitting up here looking at those numbers, only those 4 touches, because we came in this game knowing that he's the only explosive threat on this offense. And for him not to be involved is a little questionable, but you got to think that when Teddy Bridgewater came to this football game, the game plan did change a little bit, so maybe they haven't been able to get him as involved because of that switch at quarterback.
After a gain of 17, it's 2nd and 2. Asiata fighting. So going to bring up 3rd down and short. And the Saints, you talked about that penalty, shifting things, giving New Orleans the opportunity, momentum back in the building, noise back in the building. But the Saints took advantage. They marched 90 yards before the touchdown pass from Breeze to Colson. And now the Vikings having to play catch-up, down by 11. 3rd down and 2.
Crowd sensing that if you get a stop here, it's even more out of control. Minnesota's going to take a timeout for us.
And that might have been communication issues. Remember, the play sent in through the helmet cuts off 15 seconds remaining on the play clock.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
On 3rd and 2, the pass complete to Patterson, right where they had to be for the 1st down, and it's good enough for Minnesota to advance on a 3rd and 2.
Rob Ryan called an all-out blitz here. By all out, I mean all out. All 11 players are in this box right here at the line of scrimmage, and they're all coming. Cordero Patterson's just too fast for Keenan Lewis on that crossing route. Teddy Bridgewater did a really nice job backing away from that pressure to deliver the football.
Lewis on Patterson much of the game. On 1st and 10, Bridgewater goes down. Cameron Jordan.
Watching Cameron Jordan, he's inside working on the guard. You know he usually plays in, but just that quick swim move over Charlie Johnson. Big play for this Saints defense.
Cameron Jordan, whose father, Steve Jordan, was an all-pro tight end of the Vikings, and here in attendance watching his son beat the Vikings, or at least help beat their quarterback up in the backfield. Complete. Greg Jennings can't get the 1st down, but gets across the 36-yard line.
This Saints defense is not scared to be aggressive, as we know, and they've throwing players into their defenders into the backfield, rushing Teddy Bridgewater, but he does a nice job here stepping up into this pocket under duress, delivering a ball to Greg Jennings. Those are some of the things that this young quarterback can do for you. Good job, Teddy.
3rd and 2. Caught for the 1st down. Jerick McKinnon The rookie sharing the running load with Matt Asiata and Joe Banyard today.
I don't know how much running we'll see left in this football game. I told you, I feel like they're starting to chase this game, and they have to. The clock becomes their enemy here. It's clicking under around 8 minutes left in this game. They got to get a drive down the field. We know that Saints defense is going to stay aggressive. They might be able to create a big play out of this on one of these pressures. We'll have to watch and see what Minnesota has in store here.
Vikings need 2 scores should the Saints play a little bit of a prevent here.
You would think.
Bridgewater, incomplete. Trying to get it to Red Ellison, and no flags. Let's check in again with Joel Klatt. Joel?
All right, Chris, up to Detroit we go, and Reggie Bush. Nice little explosive run around the left side, and he's going to find his way into the end zone, and Bush gives the Lions a 19-7 lead. Under 8 minutes, Green Bay driving in the red zone, Chris.
All right, thank you, Joel. And boy, the Lions look so different at home compared to when they're on the road in Carolina. The numbers for Stafford. Drew Brees, impressive numbers here today with a couple of touchdowns. And the debut of 21-year-old rookie Teddy Bridgewater. Here comes a flag.
False start, number 62, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Now remember, they're without their starting right guard and starting tight end Kyle Rudolph are now out of the game. It'll be second down 15, backs him up to the 39-yard line. Bridgewater, 11 out of 18, 148 yards. He's run 6 times for 27 yards and has not turned it over coming into the second quarter.
Vikings got 4 wideouts on the field right now.
McKinnon slips 1 tackle. It's knocked out of bounds across the 41-yard line. Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, you mentioned Kyle Rudolph. He's standing just a few feet from me here on the Vikings sideline. He's now questionable with a groin injury, as is Vikings cornerback Josh Robinson, who is suffering from a hamstring injury, Chris.
So Red Ellison and Marquise Gray are the 2 tight ends that Bridgewater will have to work with on 3rd and 13.
Standing there on the sideline with his gloves off, looking dejected. He's definitely not going to be available, I think, for the rest of this game. Yep, could play into how this offense is run these last 8 minutes of the game.
What elusiveness from Bridgewater, but it results in an incompletion to Jerick McKinnon as Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, feeling it for his players on the field.
Talk about elusiveness. He's dead to rights there by Cameron Jordan, but misses him once, misses him twice. Fisher misses him, still gets the ball off. That's an element that you don't have with Matt Castle.
And you wonder if he was earlier in the game, if that wears out a defensive line. Something Sean Payton wanted to work in more of a rotation. Bird, again, the good hands returner back there with a fair catch across the 15 of New Orleans. Under 7 minutes to play. Bridgewater doing what he can to keep the Vikings within striking distance of the Saints.
We're in New Orleans making the #1 gumbo in town, Death by Gumbo, and the Saints, they're our #1 as well.
And the staff at the Restaurant Revolution, their hospitality to our NFL crew here. And when you come to New Orleans, everybody enjoys the home cooking, not just the hometown fans and the Saints. Tyree Robinson, in at running back from the 16-yard line. He gets the football. And they lose a half a yard. Both teams starting position. Minnesota from their own 21, New Orleans from the 18, have had to go on long fields today.
Yeah, they really have. And both teams have done an admirable job at it. Obviously, Drew Brees and these Saints have been able to march down and create points off of it. It's a big, big, big stop opportunity here for Minnesota. They need to get off the field, get this ball back for their offense, I think, if they're going to have any chance of getting back into this football game.
53, Lucy, 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 Lucy. Play 5, Mike, play 5. Ready, ready, reset.
Breeze on 2nd and 10. A lot of running room. He flips and incomplete for Colston. Nice hands by Harrison Smith. Let's take a look at that last drive, the 90-yard drive by Drew Brees to get in the end zone.
Started with him getting beat up here in the penalty on Captain Munderland. Allows this drive to extend, and he had some wobbly throws, some inconsistency, and then he had the big drop by Jimmy Graham. When it all came down to it, he said, I'm going to find my #1 target. 64 career touchdowns between that duo. As good as anybody in the league. I think only Peyton Manning can rival them.
Back to left 24. Ready, come on. You ready, reset.
On 3rd down and 10, pressure in the pocket, but on target to Kenny Stills. Falling across for what should be and is enough for a New Orleans first down. Drew Brees said whenever they get those milestones, it usually means we're winning. And he's moving in on another one, closing in on 300 yards passing today.
Brian Robinson was right in. Robinson was right in on him, but he dipped that shoulder. Bought himself a second more time. Was able to complete that pass.
Gain of 11.
5-4. Ready. Blue 20. Reset.
Running the ball to Robinson. Hit hard up at the 33-yard line.
Robinson doesn't have the yards today. It's only 42 or 45 now on that 12 carries, but they're tough running. Balancing out this offense so it's not so pass heavy as it has been in the past 2 games. Drew Brees and company taking their time now. Be surprised if they continue to turn around and hand this ball off and see how much of this clock they can eat up.
264 yards passing for Drew Brees and a couple of touchdowns.
Hey, Mike, 5-4. Gone. Ready, blue, ready, reset.
From the 33, Robinson with a first down. Spinning through. The Saints averaging less than 4 yards a carry on the ground today. That'll put him over the 94 mark total yards between Robinson, Pierre Thomas, Cadet. And Cooks has carried as well.
Kept 40 seconds on this stop clock, Chris. Time is becoming critical for Minnesota. They need to get a stop. That first down was crucial for them. They got 3 plays here. If they don't get it back, I think this time clock's going to run out on them.
Brees is throwing for Stills, who steps out of bounds. He's got an update. Checked in with Joel Klatt.
All right, Chris, we go to Philadelphia, and the former Eagle back in town, Deshaun Jackson. And Jackson got behind the defense for 81 yards, and he's gone. By the way, at the end, he's going to give a little Eagle love, and, of course, Rondé, you know this, he got booed. It's all tied up in Philadelphia. Chris and Rondé.
In Philadelphia, you always expect some fan involvement. Chad Greenway now out of the game. Remember his practice this week, playing with that cast on his left hand, broken hand. Also suffered from rib injuries earlier in the year.
Ready, reset.
On 2nd and 4, Robinson keeping it on the ground at the first down. Powering his way into Viking territory. The clock continues to run, and Minnesota has only 2 timeouts remaining.
Late in the game, Chris, it always becomes a war of attrition. Whose will is stronger to win? And right now, this New Orleans Saints running game is forcing their will on the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, Drew Brees is completing some passes, but you take the opportunity to milk this clock down, knowing you're just going to turn around and hand it off and still get first downs. It says a lot about your team and your offense and your confidence in your offensive line.
Ready, Mike, 5-4. Blue 80, reset.
Robinson protecting the football, getting to the 45 of Minnesota. Well, I'll say this about Mike Zimmer, and you know what went on during the course of the week in Minnesota. He told his team, look, I'll take all the questions about off the field. You guys, you have a job to do the best you can. Some players texting Adrian Peterson, who went on the commissioner's exempt list. He's a first-year head coach, waited 20 years in the NFL as an assistant, more recently a defensive coordinator, but put in a tough spot to focus his team, and certainly they have nothing to be ashamed of the way they played today, especially with rookie Bridgewater having to come off the bench.
Well, we knew this was going to be a tough test for him. Coming to New Orleans, where the Saints, quite frankly, just don't lose. Obviously, dealing with those distractions doesn't help either.
Robinson will lose yardage. Gerald Hodges comes in. There still is the 2-minute warning to stop the clock. The Vikings will use one of their remaining timeouts, so they will have just one left. Sean Payton wanted his team to be uncomfortable this week. Said even though we're playing at home, you're not inheriting anything off of last year, even though they were 8-0 at home, and expected to do well this season.
Interesting too, when he was talking to us, he went back into last year after their strong start last year, and mentioned that we're 7-8 over our last 15 games. People want to put these expectations on us, but we haven't been very good during that stretch. And their upcoming games, they're at Dallas and in Tampa. If they're going to get it right on track, those are the games to do it.
And he talked about situational football. Yeah, the defense is one area, and he and Rob Ryan, he said, hey, Rob, Rob's my guy. I mean, he's passionate. We wear it on our sleeve. But the offense, as Drew Brees said, there were some things we could have done differently in those first two games. As that pass is on target to Robert Meacham, who still won't go down. And it takes 3 or 4 Vikings to bring him to the turf.
Minnesota had one last opportunity to win on third down and give themselves a chance. You give it to Drew Brees and you give him a window, and he always seems to find the right window with all these threats. Get that big first down completion. He's going to run this clock out.
We have reached the 2-minute warning here in New Orleans. The Saints lead the Vikings 20-9, and New Orleans has their hands on the football. Coming up, State Farm postgame, and part of that coverage, live coverage of the Redskins and Eagles. We'll take you to that game. 2 minutes remaining here, and one timeout Vikings as Robinson carries. And we'll have Minnesota using its last timeout.
You got to think, though, Chris, go back to that one penalty. It's the biggest one of the game that Captain Munderland
shifted things. The Saints took advantage, and Mike Zimmer with his young quarterback at home against Matt Ryan and the Falcons, who are actually 2-1 as they knocked off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that lopsided game on Thursday night. The Saints came in one of 7 teams that had not won a game. There were 7 teams coming into this weekend that had not lost a game. And that'll be interesting to see Matt Ryan and the Falcons against this Minnesota Viking team.
See some good things, Chris, on this Vikings defense. Obviously, it's a new scheme, new coach. There's things they can work on and get better at, but the talent level is there for sure. And they showed it at times today. And it's a misfortune on that penalty. Like I said, it really turned the outcome of this game.
Robinson will give us your quick assessment of Teddy Bridgewater, and maybe knowing that he'll get a chance to start at home next week, given the toe injury to Matt Castle, how that might be different for him.
You know what? I think a full week of practice as the guy will definitely benefit him. He's definitely impressed with his poise. His decision-making seems sound. He didn't do anything, that you would claim as call a rookie mistake. But the dynamic of having him be able to move around in the pocket, get out, create plays in the running game will be an asset for him. And like I said, a full week under his belt, North Turner putting a full playbook or a call sheet around him definitely benefit him next week as Atlanta comes to town.
Saints wanted to run the clock down as far as they could and use the timeout on a 3rd down and 3. And Drew Brees, he's 7 yards away from his 11th consecutive home game with at least 300 yards passing, and currently tied with Kurt Warner as the NFL record. Needs those 7 yards to set the record.
Well, last week, Marcus Colston needed 1 catch to get to 87 consecutive, and they seem to be unaware. Let's see here with the 1 minute and 9 seconds left if they know that he needs 7 yards to keep that record alive.
Ready, Indy. You ready? What's up?
Well, he'll get a first down if the call is on the Vikings for coming across the line.
Neutral zone infraction number 97, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
The producer of today's game, Mike Birch, directed by Michael Frank, our associate director, Tavis Strand, broadcast associate, Mike Strack, technical producer, Tom Lynch, technical director, Ernest Bauer. Our audio mixer is Kevin McCloskey. As our crew, we appreciate their hard work every week, and they enjoy bringing you the NFL on Fox. Chip giveaway Weaver. Also, Rick Odioso and James Petrarca here in the booth. We want to send out our best wishes to Frank Phillips, part of our technical crew for a lot of years. Get well and a happy birthday to him, as a lot of these guys worked with him around the league, covering the game that we like to cover. Looks like Breeze and the Saints are going to be content with running it out.
Mission accomplished here for the New Orleans Saints, coming home and getting that W. Chris, you forgot to give a shout out to Jen Hale for all her hospitality while we're here in her home city. The meals were outstanding. She took me to CrossFit, killed me. Gotta love New Orleans.
Well, certainly Captain Mutterland and Drew Brees say, hey, it's all in the spirit of the game. And they saw each other a lot when Mutterland was in Carolina, and twice a year the Panthers and Saints would clash. But Sean Payton gets the win. 1-2 for the Saints. The Vikings, after winning their opener, drop their second straight, but have something to build on with Teddy Bridgewater. The Saints in their home opener victorious with the final score, New Orleans 20, Minnesota 9. The numbers for Drew Brees, 27 of 35, 293 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Kyrie Robinson carried the football 18 times with Mark Ingram out of the lineup with that broken hand. We will have more from the Superdome in New Orleans on the NFL on Fox in just a moment.